So what kind of row are you trying to cause in my house?
He isn't causing a row, you're causing a row. Please have a little self-control.
Self-control? I suppose the latest thing is to let Mr. Nobody from Nowhere make love to your wife.
Now I've got something to tell you, old sport.
Please don't. Why don't we all go home?
I want to know what Mr. Gatsby has to tell me.
Your wife doesn't love you. She's never loved you. She loves me.
You must be crazy.
She never loved you. She only married you because I was poor and she was tired of waiting on me. In her heart, she only loves me.
Sit down, Daisy. I want to hear what's been going on. I want to hear all about it.
I told you what's been going on. For 5 years and you didn't even know.
You've been seeing this fellow for 5 years?
Not seeing, no, we couldn't meet. But both of us loved each other all that time, and you didn't know.
Oh, that's all? You're crazy. I can't speak about what happened 5 years ago because I didn't know Daisy then. But she loved me when she married me, and she loves me now.
No.
She does, though. The trouble is that she has foolish ideas and doesn't know what she's doing. I love Daisy, too. Once in a while I make a fool out of myself, but I know that in my heart I love her all the time.
You're revolting. Do you know why we left Chicago? I'm surprised he didn't treat you to the story of that in the spring.
Daisy, it's all over now. It doesn't matter. Just tell him the truth. You never loved him.
Why? How could I love him possibly?
You never loved him.
I never loved you.
Not at Capullani?
No.
Not the day I carried you down from the punch bowl to keep your shoes dry? Daisy?
Please don't. Oh, you want too much. I love you now. Isn't that enough? I can't help what's past. But I loved him once, and I love you now, too.
You loved me too?
Even that's a lie. She didn't know you were alive. Why, there are things between me and her that you'll never know. Things that neither of us can ever forget.
I want to speak to Daisy alone. You got her all excited now.
Even alone, I can't say I never loved Tom.
Of course you can.
As if it mattered to you.
Of course it matters to me. I'm going to take better care of you from now on.
You don't understand. You're not going to take better care of her at all.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Because Daisy's leaving you.
Nonsense. Daisy's not leaving me. Certainly not for a common swindler that steal the ring you put on her finger. Who are you anyhow? You're one of those bunch that hangs out with Maya Woofshe. That much I happen to know. I've made a little investigation into your affairs.
You can suit yourself to that, old sport.
I found out what your drugstores were. He and this Woofshe bought up side street drugstores here in Chicago and sold green alcohol over the counter. I picked him for a bootlegger the first time I saw him, and I wasn't far wrong.
I guess your friend Walter Chase wasn't too proud to come in on it. He came to us dead broke. He was very glad to pick up some money, though, old sport.
Don't call me old sport. Walter could have you up on the betting laws, but Woofshe scared him into keeping his mouth shut.
Daisy, none of this is true. I swear, Daisy, I'm not as bad as he's saying I am.
Please, Tom, I can't stand listening to him.
You two going home. Mr. Gadsby's car. Go on. He won't annoy you anymore. I think he realizes that his little presumptuous flirtation is over.
The death car, as the newspapers called it, didn't stop. It came out of the gathering darkness, wavered tragically for a moment, and then disappeared around the next bend. McAllis wasn't even sure of its color. He told the first policeman that it was a light green. The other car, the one going toward New York, came into a rest 100 yards beyond, and its driver hurried back to where Myrtle Wilson, her life violently extinguished, knelt in the road and mingled her thick, dark blood with the dust. I chose this chapter because it represents the culmination of the entire book, basically. Boils down to this one moment of what's going to happen. Represents basically the whole plot. And I think it also shows a lot about all the characters. And I think it's important to the story.
I liked this chapter because it was very exciting and very entertaining. It had a lot of meat in it, from the fight scene to the death of Myrtle. We chose to film it outside in the hot weather because it symbolized the heat of the climax in the story.
So I chose this chapter for the project because I personally thought that it was the most interesting. The tense situation between Gatsby and Tom illustrates the true inner conflicts of the story, which I thought happened to be very entertaining.
So I wanted to film this scene because obviously it was the climax of the story, but like this is when it got really juicy, and I feel like this is when everyone's true identity seemed to come out, and no one was really fake anymore, and this is where like reality started to set in, and all the fantasy time was over. And also I liked how like everyone changed just in one argument, and yeah.
So we chose to film this chapter because I felt like, this chapter really showed the insight to each of the characters, and mainly we learned more about Gatsby and his past and how he came to obtain his money with selling his alcohol with Wolfsheim and his drugstores. It also shows the climax of the story, which is very important, and we filmed outside on a really sunny day to capture the intensity of the plot that was happening in the suspense.